Hi, this is Doug with Inspire Light Shows, and in this video we're going to do a quick overview of the V2 arch base designs for HDPE tubing. Now when you purchase the kit, you'll receive the printed parts, the two bases as well as the two pixel strip holders. All the other hardware and accessories you'll have to purchase on your own. Now the features of this base, they carry a lot of the same features as the original, as well as some new ones as well, so we'll talk about that. The first thing here is your tunnel, which is used for your leg support. So you'll take 1/2-inch EMT conduit, slide this through the back of the bases, and these become your leg support to widen your base and take the load off of the base themselves. And the way this works is you'll set this out in your yard, and you'll want to make these about 10 inches to a foot in length or so, but it's really up to you how wide you want to make them. And then you can take these landscape stakes or staples, sort of the little like U-shaped metal staples, and they'll go over top of the conduit, and you can use a sledgehammer or mallet and tap them down, and that secures it. One on either side, that's all you need. That will hold the bases in place. There is an optional hole here in the back where you can take a sheet metal screw, a number 6 by 1/2-inch sheet metal screw, and secure the EMT so it can't slide around in here, but really I don't think you need that. It's not going to go anywhere with the staples holding it in place. As far as the tubing itself, there's a center post here, and this will go inside of the tubing, so when you press the tubing in, this will go inside, and then there's this channel here, makes almost like a little moat, and that is where the outside of the tubing, or the tubing will go in here, and you can secure it from the outside using screws, the same number 6 by 1/2-inch sheet metal screws on either side. You will want to use these just so that tubing can't work its way out. When you're inserting your pixels or the strip through here, you'll go through the center with your pigtail. It's large enough opening to accommodate the full-size pigtail to come through. Out the other side, and then you can run the wiring through this channel here. And you take a small 6-inch zip tie, and there's a tunnel here, and you can just use your finger here to push it through the other side, and it makes a loop. So your pigtail will go through this channel, and then you can tighten it down with a zip tie so that the pigtail can't work its way out, and everything sits flush. You also have a zip tie channel here in the front, and this works with the new pixel strip holders. So I'll show these here first. This is a really cool design. It's actually a two-part design. So they'll come like this, and you just slide the top half off, so you have two parts. And so the way this works is you'll set this on the ground, put your strip in here, run the wire through the little channel here between the two posts. It's a tight fit, but you can work it down. It will fit. And then simply the top goes, line it up, and just slide it over top, and it locks everything in place. So it's really slick. So I'll show you that here. So we have our pixel strip, and I've already taken a small bungee and fished that through here. And then you just take the top, set this down, and push it over top. And it creates a nice friction fit with the strip, and it won't go anywhere. So now we'll take this and we'll fish this through. So we'll start with the pigtail, zip tie, or the bungee, excuse me. And then you'll see here there's a little channel on the top of the post here, and that will accommodate the strip holder, so it locks it kind of, so it sits, the idea behind it is that it sits as close to the bottom of the strip as possible. You don't have to use this, but why not? So that kind of holds it in place. And so you'll do this on the first one, and you'll see here you can take your pigtail that can go through in the channel, and you have your bungee. And the way this bungee is secured is with another zip tie. So you'll go through the channel in the front, take the zip tie, loop it around the bungee, back out front, and then so now you can pull tension on this, and when you have the tension that you like, and especially on the first one, you'll just set this one in place here. The real trick is setting the tension once you're doing the second base during assembly. But you'll take this, put the zip tie in. Of course, it's misbehaving with me right now. There it goes. Cinch that down, and that now holds this in place and sets your tension. It's probably not a bad idea, just in case, to tie a knot on here, just to help, just in case it backs out. So that way it can't actually get through the tunnel. Then you can cut off any excess and tuck it back inside the base so everything is flush on the bottom. So that's how that will hold in place, kind of like that. And then you'll take your tubing and you'll fish this through. So we'll take your pixel strips, fish it through your tubing, press this down over top, and then you'll use an EMT conduit hanger. So you'll have this EMT conduit hanger, this will go over top, and then you take another piece of EMT, and you see we've done this here. We flattened, just used a sledgehammer against the ground, flattened the end of the conduit, and then drilled a 1/4-inch hole through it so the nut, so the bolt and nut here will now tighten down and cinch this over the tubing and locking everything in place. And that's one of the cool features with this arch-based design is on the previous ones, this horizontal bracing was done through the mount itself, which meant the mount had to have a lot of plastic in it. It was bigger, bulkier. This kind of really slims it down. Not only does it make the mount lower profile, it also reduces the cost because there's less material in it. So you'll take this in place here, and you will, once you get it kind of set the way you want it, you can then tighten this nut down, and that will cinch everything over the tubing. Now, one thing I'll mention here is this is a number 4 hanger with this is a 1.75-inch HDPE tubing. Works perfect on this one. On the larger 2-inch tubing, you can go to a larger hanger. This is a number 5, but this is almost too large, and you can't get a good cinch even on the 2-inch. But the number 4 is almost a little too tight. But if you add a little washer, some spacers on it in here with the 2-inch tubing, it will work. So I do recommend using the number 4 hanger on the 2-inch as well. And so now you'll basically repeat this process on the other side. So you'll try and bend, you have your strip inserted, you'll bend this over and repeat the process, and that's where on the other side it's going to be more critical when you're putting that bungee in to set the tension and guide it, because you're trying to get that just right so that the strip holder, you know, in your perfect world, your strip holder will sit right here. And so trying to get that on the other side, you're to get it to sit, it all depends on the length of your tube, the length of your horizontal span, and where your cuts are for your pixel strip, or the length you're using if you get a predetermined one. You just kind of play around with that length to be able to get it so that it will sit at the end exactly where you want it, and not have your strip end like here or end deeper inside. You kind of got to play around with that, but once you figure it out, you make all your arches that way, it works really well. So that is the general overview of the HDPE arch-based design V2.